What's going on?
What's going on? I'm down to my last skirted lure. So I've run out of trace because we had a bit of a foul up with a fish. But I'm down to my last skirt. So what I'm going to do, take this old lure that's been chewed to bits by different fish. It's only got one little bit of feather left. So take the leader off that, or the trace off that, and pop it on this skirt. And that'll give us one more lure because we're running out of lures, which is ironic because at home, long story short, I have, how many lures we got at home, Wen?
Over 1,000.
No, we got 11,000. It's a long story. One day, if you're good, I'll tell you about it. About how we came to have 10,000 lures. So the irony is, here's me taking little bits of old lure and samples of, this is actually a sample for all the different colours we do in skirts. So I'm taking a sample and old doggy bits and making one lure, and oh god, we have so many at home. Anyway, that's another story. So when we go, after we leave home and head up north to the Kimberleys, I've got lots of lure testing to do because I've got some new models that are dying to see how well they perform. Like I've got this new one here, this open face, and I ran it with a bit of without a proper rig because I don't have all the proper stuff on board, just to see how it performed, and it got hit a few times. You can see a bit of the skirts missing, but I really want to put a camera in front of it and see how it swims. What you do is you run your GoPro down the line and you have that sitting just in front of the lure, and then you can see the fish hitting it, and you can see how it swims and what sort of smoke trail it gives. But that's all for another day, the lure day. See ya.
Just one question. You mentioned the Kimberleys.
Yeah, everyone knows we're going to the Kimberleys.
Nobody knows we're going to the Kimberleys.
Ah. Well, this is the plan. After we get home, and have done a bit of work on the boat, and the cyclone season is near to finished, we're gonna leave Airlie Beach and head north up to Cairns at the tail end of the cyclone season. I know it's the worst part of the cyclone season, which is always end of March and April. But there's lots of more on this later, but there are lots of little hidey holes and marinas and stuff to pop into all the way up to Cairns, so you're never more than a day away from safety. And if it means a couple of $100 in a marina for 3 days or 4 days, then so be it. But we want to get up to Cairns for the official end of cyclone season, and then head across the top, provision in Darwin, and then go and spend a year in the Kimberleys. It's something we've both wanted to do for many years, and we want to spend not only a dry season up there when everyone's up there, but a wet season when no one's up there. So it's been one of my dreams. So that's the plan. That's the Kimberleys in a nutshell. I've just realised we've still got the Tonga flag up, so we should have taken that down by now. So to do the right thing, I'm going to take it down. There's the Tongan flag, the one that Wendy made, flying beautifully. So it's time she came down. Yes! Good for a tire. The next flag we have to put up, it's not a compulsory courtesy flag for Norfolk Island, but Wendy's made this beautiful Norfolk Island flag that we're going to fly as a courtesy flag. We always like to do the right thing by where we are, and I think the locals will appreciate a visiting boat flying their flag. So it's an Australian territory, so we have to fly. If we were an international boat, we'd have to fly the Australian flag, but since we're an Australian boat, we fly the Australian flag all the time. So we don't fly, we don't have a there's no regulation for us to fly a courtesy flag for Norfolk Island, but we shall. Sorry about the light, but what's the time? It's 20 to 11 at night, and we're just rounding North Minerva Reef. It's a bit spooky actually because there's no moon. It's pitch black out there, and I'm keeping about 2 miles off the reef. But it's still eerie. You can hear the waves breaking over the reef and the wind's howling because it's blowing about 20 knots out there. But we've got the boat reefed up pretty well. We've got 2 reefs on the main, heads all down, and just lightly sheeted. So she's handling the weather beautifully, of course. So we're doing about 4.5 knots, and we were going to pull in here to Minerva and have a couple of days of R&R, but we got the entrance is just here on the screen. It's just there, so we're just opposite the entrance now. But that means we'd have to hang around here till the morning, so all night just either going backwards and forwards or heaving to. So we've changed our minds, and we're actually going to go down here a bit further south to Southern Minerva, which is another reef or sunken atoll, which we can get into. So that's the plan now. It's 20.14 miles away. We're doing average about 4 knots, so that should take us about 5 or 6 hours. And so we should get there about 2 hours before sunup. So what I'll do as we get closer is slow right down. And we're going to pop in here to South Minerva and check it out and have a couple of days R&R there. So that's the latest plan. And I think it's going to be a good one. So we're just skirting around North Minerva at the moment, and winds, we're going to be pretty close hauled all the way down, but that's all right. She loves sailing on the weather. So we'll give you an update as the sun pops up, I suppose, and we'll see what South Minerva looks like. Cheers.
Just arrived at the South Minerva Reef. So this is it, and how freaky is this? There's no land here.
No.
It's just a few waves. So who'd know there was even a massive reef there?
Oh,
and there's
right.
a tiny gap here where we're going through. What do you think?
It's a bit unnerving when it was dark because you could hear it, and we were sitting here for hours just waiting, and it was weird. You could hear it all, but you couldn't see anything on the radar, couldn't see anything. Of course you could see it on the chart. So now we've got a tiny little gap to go through, and it should be all right. It's deep water. It's a wide pass, but the gap through the coral is only narrow. So how we go.
Just coming through the pass. It's quite hard to see the reef with all this cloud cover, but you can tell by the little waves what's going on, more or less.
That was more than less.
Yeah.
I prefer more than less.
And there's whirlpools, you can just see some whirlpools.
That's the centre of the current. We're going to stay out of the current as much as we can.
It's very weird because there is no land here. It's just ocean and stuff hidden below. Very odd. Pretty steady 18 metres coming in.
6 bombies down there.
Someone's moved the light, we think. Apparently it keeps getting blown up.
Well, it's disputed territory. These 2 Minerva reefs, north and south, are disputed territory between Tonga and Fiji. So they take turns having a little go at it, blowing up the light or showing power by bringing down the Navy and things like that, apparently. So I've heard. So we're in disputed territory. It reminds me of being up in the Indian Himalayas on the border of Pakistan, when there's machine guns everywhere and tanks and planes flying sorties over and gunship helicopters flying over your camp. And but here it's a bit quieter. It's just disputed. they're not showing any aggression because they're islanders and they don't show much aggression. Anyway, better navigate. So that light that's on our right there, on our starboard, should be over to port here. So any poor soul who's relying on that light as a point of reference will get a rude surprise as they hit the reef.
Tide's gone out now, and you can just see the reef, and the weather's cleared a bit. We're anchored. The water is so clear, that's 13.5 meters deep. It's absolutely amazing, yeah, it's amazing. It's a bit surreal being out in the middle of the deep ocean and you're just in a blip. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's incredible.
What are you up to? You're walking around with a spanner.
Well, I had a loose cleat, and it's not very nice having a loose cleat, so I went around tightening my nuts everywhere and tightened my screws and just tightened things. I went and walked around the whole boat with the Phillips and tightened every Phillips, and I walked around with a flat blade and tightened all them, and then I walked around with another spanner and tightened it. Yeah, it's just nipping stuff up because she's been copping a hiding in the last 6 months since we left Mexico. So it's always good to have tight nuts.
Pretty beautiful out here. So the reef's disappeared again and the sun's setting. It's a very strange feeling being out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean at anchor. What you up to?
Just going for a row in the Pacific. Just if we can. I figured since we're going to go taking the dinghy out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with no other boats and no land and nothing till we get to Australia, we better put the oars on the boat. So apart from old Evie, we've now got the oars. Yeah, we'll take our, like when we're in remote area travel, we always, whenever we go anywhere, we always take an emergency kit with us. Just basic, something that'll get us out of the proverbial. So we do the same when we're a remote area like this. Because this is pretty remote. So, I don't use the word awesome very often, unlike some people I know. This is awesome. And it went.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No, he's down there, manta ray. A manta ray or just a stingray?
No, manta ray.
Aren't they big, manta rays?
No, not baby ones.
Well, I suppose.
They can't be born big.
What are you up to?
When we got in here, we didn't put the floats on, and now I just want to make sure I'm not going to hurt any coral. So I'm going to put the floats on the chain.
There's the floats. God, so clear.
Yeah.
There's the anchor down there.
It's awkward, I can't quite reach.
So you're just putting the bit of rope on for the pom-pom?
Yeah, sacrificial bit of line in case things get undone. You can just, this is fairly not that strong, and we just lose a pom-pom float.
I like calling them pom-poms.
So our first one is at 15 metres.
And what are they attached with, that silver thing?
That's a tuna clip.
Oh, okay.
You'll be able to see them all floating.
I know, it's going to be lovely. Like Christmas. Christmas in July. Actually, it is pretty much Christmas in July. It's about, what, the 28th? July. There she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. And then you do the next one.
We should really be reversing while we're doing this, but
Oh, we're going
to
to lift them up off the bottom anyway.
The wind will take us back.
Yeah. Is this lazy sailing then?
Yeah.
Number 2. That one goes down. Doesn't want to go down.
Well, okay.
Trying to stay up. And the lucky last.
It's always the green one.
Always the green one. That was the one that was given to us by Richard and Michelle in the Tuamotus. It's Christmas in July.
So with this arrangement, we are keeping the majority of our chain off the bottom. We've still got, when it's light breeze like this, we've still got about 5 or 8 meters of chain on the bottom, which is keeping the anchor angle correct. Chain is on the bottom, so it's pulling the anchor in. But as the wind picks up, it'll pull us away and it'll straighten the chain out a bit and lay more down because the floats will be pulled down. Because this is calculated, these floats will lift 15 kilos. Is it 15 or 5? Anyway, whatever. Oh, a shark down there, look. Our first visitor shark.
Yeah. And that's a long way down, so he's pretty big.
Yeah, 6 foot. Right, we got a little interruption from sharks and manta rays and all sorts of things. So it's all calculated so that the anchor chain will float mid-column. So depending if we had thicker anchor chain, like 3/8, we'd have the floats closer together. But because we've got 5/16 HT, we've got the floats further apart. And my friend Richard, our friend Richard, who we met in the Tuamotus, explained all that to me, and he worked it all out for me. So it's worked out perfectly. Look at that anchor chain, just absolutely hanging there perfectly. We're not hurting any of the coral, and I feel a lot better.
We're just going to wait another couple of hours for the tide to go out a bit more, and then I'm going to go and have a poke around there, and I'll show you what I find.
So just getting back to the floats, from the last float, because I've got the last float is at 15, 25, 35 meters. So we've got 60 meters out now. So we've got 30 meters between the last float and the boat. But for some reason, well, I know the reason, we're in 15 meters of water. So the last link of chain will just be off the bottom. So we can, even though we've got the last, even though we've got the last float at 35 meter mark, we can still lay 60. And if it's a storm situation, or if we're in deeper water, we can let more chain out because your last loop will be able to go deeper. And if it is stormy and like you need to let 100 meters out or 200 meters out, because we have 200 meters. Have we got 200? Nearly. We've got 180 meters of chain. We'll have to just do that, let it out, and if there's coral down there, unfortunately, it will have to suffer. But at least we're not going to lose our lives or lose the boat. But that's a rare occasion, and if it's storm situation, you shouldn't really be anchored near coral anyway. You should be out in deeper water where the sand is. So that's a little explanation of our system. Well, it's not our system, it's highly used in these atolls by responsible boaters. That's 60 meters out now.
Yeah.
So let's put the snubber on and we'll be good to go again.
And that's how close we are to the reef.
Yeah. We could anchor a lot closer, but
Nah.
it doesn't allow us any safety margin in case we have a 180 wind shift, which happens during squalls and things. So at least this way, if we do get a squall and it swings us 180 degrees, we've still got room to manoeuvre and room to get out if the unthinkable happens. Look at this.
Magnus went off a little while ago in the dinghy, and I've been cooking a beef curry down in the galley, and I got this message on the radio saying, did I want dinner?
Nutshell, do you copy the Fishmeister?
And I said, yes, please, because we can always eat the curry another day. So he's on his way back. We'll see what he's caught. Here's the curry. Here it is, cooking away, not finished yet. But, right, I think I can hear him. I wonder what he's caught. What'd you get?
I had the line in for like 30 seconds.
Oh.
And I got this little baby.
What is it? What is that?
It's yummy, it's dinner.
Do you know what it is?
No, but it's dinner.
We'll have to look that one up.
Well, it's a bit like a bonefish, but
It does.
too big.
Okay, wicked. That'll keep you busy for the next 10 minutes.
Or filleting.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like 30 seconds.
Wow, it's a big one too.
Yeah, it's got heaps of meat on it.
Did you get it in the pass?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, babe.
Just waiting to drift in. I stopped a bit early.
You did. Do you want a hand?
Try. As soon as I got over there, I put the line in and then there was a fish on.
Oh. And that's the only time you're actually going fishing rather than catching.
Yeah, I just wanted to go fishing.
Oh. Well, we got plenty of room in the freezer, so you can always go and get some squid or crayfish
I'll
later.
get some crayfish tonight and some squid tonight.
Yeah. Bit of variety. One of the jobs that Magnus has just done on the boat is to put a deck wash hose outlet
Hose, yeah.
in the cockpit, so that now instead of gathering bucket loads of salt water to clean up yucky messes, he can just run the hose and keep everything really clean as he goes. And who are you going to thank for that bit of not advice would you call it?
No, I've been meaning to do it forever.
And who would you like to thank for
reminding me to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Troy from Free Range Sailing. I saw one of his videos the other day and he said deck wash pump is a must. And I thought, yeah, I've got to do it. I've got the pump, I've got the hose, I've got everything. I just got to do it. So thanks, mate.
Yeah. And
I did
that
it.
fish is looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good looking bit of fish.
Here's the filleted fish. I reckon there's about 4 or 5 kilos of fish there.
So we reckon this is the fish we caught. It's a poison job, or poisson job, which in English is jobfish. And it does remind me of a jobfish. So in here it says, to anyone who catches this fish, you are an extremely rare and talented fisherman, and your wife should appreciate all your efforts. Thank you. That's my translation in French.
Well done, babe.
Thank you.
Merci.
Beaucoup.
What have you just done?
I just went for an amazing fly over the reef, so I'm just about to show Wendy the footage I took.
in completely the wrong place. So if you ever come here, don't believe the lie. Right, I'm going in. Magnus is my gondola man. What are they called? I don't know what a gondola man's called.
There's Wendy.
Wow, it's so clear.
I know. It's incredible. I've never ever in my whole life seen anything like this. And I've been to a few places in my life. Nothing as good as this. You don't even need to go in the water here. You can just, I'm just standing up on the dinghy and you can see all this. So I've just spotted this crayfish down here and get Wendy to get her first ever crayfish, which will be pretty exciting for her because I know she's never got one before.
So where am I going?
Under that shelf there and pull out some crayfish to dinner.
Alright, no worries. Here we go.
There she is, Wendy's going in for a first crayfish.
Can I just hold on to their spikes?
The feelers, no, you got to
put them out with that.
No, because they'll break off. You got to reach right in.
I don't think I can.
You can.
I don't think I can.
Give it a go. They won't hurt you.
I can't do it.
Come on.
I can't.
You can.
A hook I could.
No, just reach in and grab him.
I can't.
You'll be amazed.
Oh, I gotta be sick.
It's a crayfish, it's not a shark.
I don't know, I can't.
Give it a try.
Oh, thank you.
Come on.
I can't. That's incredible, that reflection.
Yeah, because it looks like there's no bottom to the boat.
Wow. Lots of wows.
There she is, our little floating home. Who could ask for anything more? We love her.